Hello, everyone in Facebook land. How are you? This is Tina Jones, and I'm the host and coordinator of the Empower You Expo, which this year for 2020 will be live and virtual inside of a Facebook group and on YouTube. And I'm here today to introduce you to another one of our presenters. How are you today, LaMonte?
Great. I'm doing wonderful. And I'm excited for all the effort you're putting in to make this still happen.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be fun. It's a little different doing it this way, but we can actually have more people from all around the world. So, Lamont, tell us, what do you do?
Yeah, so in conjunction with Dr. Oliver, he has a clinic here where he works on functional neurology. And I have an office here also, and I help people with the mental side of it. So being able to help people understand their brain in a different way so that they can take charge of some of the things that are happening in there. And we all know what it's like. We get caught in patterns and ways of thinking that don't help us. And research shows that a lot of our decisions that we make are very automated. There are kind of our subconscious patterns that were created oftentimes when we were just little children, and they're still playing out and they're still stuck in those patterns. And so we find that we're just not super happy a lot. And a lot of times it even goes to the level of, what we call mental illness and mental struggles. And so we do a lot here to really help people with different things. Both Dr. Oliver and I, we each kind of do different things. He measures the brain and looks at what the brain does and sees what the patterns are like in there, what parts of the brain are not really functioning well as far as that neurology. And then he has therapies and exercises that he gives people to get that part of the brain functioning better. And then the part that I play is and I kind of explain it like our brain is like a library. Our brain runs off of a reward system. And our brain has got all this information, all this data, and all these patterns, and all these programs that play in our head. And what he does is he measures where those kind of the lights have been turned off. And since our brain works off of a reward system, if it doesn't see the reward, then it just doesn't tend to go there. It doesn't want to go there. It doesn't have that tendency. And so he does therapies to kind of light up those areas of the brain, turn the lights on of the library. And then the part that I play is that I help people kind of walk through the library so they can actually go in those places and actually look around and let their brain see the reward system. And it ultimately just shifts in such a big way. And so we're able to help people really overcome oftentimes very, really severe, mental struggles and patterns that they're stuck in, including addictions. And in the brain neurologically, a pattern like that looks the same, whether it's an addiction or it's depression or anxiety or, any of those other kind of mental struggles that people have. It really looks the same inside the brain. And so we kind of treat everyone in a very similar way, but uniquely to where their specific struggle is, but we kind of do the same kind of things, but in those different areas of the brain.
Wow, that's super cool. And right now, everybody under stress, humans tend to go back to old patterns. So
Yes.
if we have had change done in our lives and we've had some improvements in our mental health under large amounts of stress, which we are all currently facing, we have a tendency to forget all the good things that we've learned. So I love how you described this, like it's turning the lights on in certain places.
Yeah. Yeah. You're very right. Our primal mind kicks in, and it's almost like we go back to a childlike way of thinking because those patterns are stored from our childhood. And so when you're right, when we feel threatened, when we feel fear, then those parts of the brain just light up, and that's where we tend to go for that experience. But it's that little child isn't really good at making decisions and really thinking things through. And we get stuck in those patterns so much. And the way the brain works is the more we use them, the stronger they get and the easier it is for us to go there. And so then oftentimes it becomes so perpetual that we spend years and years and years suffering when really there is a way. I'm telling you, the amazing thing about the brain right now is that we are discovering and learning so much about the brain. Our technology is out there. I mean, our government has put, under the Brain Initiative, we put over $950 million into the research of the brain. So that basically means anyone who's researching the brain has easy access to grants and resources. And now they have things they can hook up to your brain and study specifically what your brain's experiencing, instead of where psychology used to just talk to you and ask you questions about it. They didn't look at the organ of your brain. They just talked and tried to figure it out through communication. Now they can see the brain. They can test and look at the brain and see specifically what it does. So we have so much information. Matter of fact, I calculated it the other day, and we have, to keep up with just the current research, you'd have to read 500 pages a day. That's how much research we get. That's coming from our universities and our professors and people who are studying this in their labs. And it's phenomenal. But we know a lot, but it's a matter of like bringing it together and doing something with it. And so Dr. Oliver is one of 4, I think, doctors that do what he does in Utah. And none of them have somebody that does quite what I do. So combination is just really phenomenal. And we get to see incredible results. I have the funnest life ever.
That is super cool. I kind of see, so I'm imagining that it's kind of like, the doctor is he was kind of like you're the oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Because you have to exercise your brain, right? So you have to exercise it. So you are like the coach who gives people exercise routines for their brain, right?
Yeah, and it's actually even more powerful than that, because the exercises are one way to help change the brain, to do some repetition, right? You get repetition, and then your conscious patterns will move their way into your subconscious as you repeat it. But you can also change it very quickly from having a certain amount of knowledge that leads to emotional shifts. So, for example, when someone has a traumatic event, look at what happens. Like they immediately have a lot of emotion, they have a lot of concern, a lot of thought processes, and then they repeat and repeat and repeat it naturally because of the emotions that accompanied that experience. And so what I do is actually oftentimes a really quick shift for a lot of people, and depending on the situation, of course, everybody's different, but a lot of times they have such a massive shift all at once. It's almost like we're reproducing what happens in a traumatic event, but we're using a different area of the brain that gets new reward. Because when someone has a traumatic event and then all of a sudden they have this new problem like PTSD or depression or anxiety, intense anxiety, that's because they had such a perspective at that time where they had a whole bunch of emotion that was a reward. I know it sounds strange, but subconsciously our brain got a reward in that moment. And then after that, they keep repeating it because they want that reward again. Their subconscious wants that reward again. And that's why they keep doing it. And so if I can kind of reproduce that, but in a positive way, a way that helps and serves them, then their brain will automatically want that, and it'll shift their reward system, and they'll want it more, and they'll keep it going. And so it's just fascinating to have that discovery and be able to help people that way.
And you can have permanent change with somebody that way. So I'm like super excited so your presentation is going to be Saturday, May 2nd at 3:00. So mark your calendars. If you're watching this video now, 3:00 on Saturday, you can join the group, Empower You Expo 2020 virtual group, or you can go to which is kind of long, right? Or you can go to the website empoweruexpo.com, and there'll be a button there. So we will be live streaming. But I wanted to also ask you just real quickly, what got you into this?
Actually, I completely shifted careers a few years ago, and I was doing something completely different. But there was people around me who were struggling, people close to me and family members that had some pretty incredibly complicated and severe mental struggles. And I ran into a gentleman who talked a little bit about how the brain is wired a certain way and you can rewire, and it's and that just lit me up. I had to figure out how to do it. And because of the severity of some of my relatives, they couldn't get the help from him because of their own anxieties and different things like that. And so I thought, I got to figure this out. This is fascinating. And my discovery was that I had a whole bunch going on in my head that I didn't realize. I thought I was a pretty happy, jovial.
Oh, don't we all think that? We all think it's not my problem. It's always somebody else's problem. But the reality is that if I change in the midst of a relationship, if I change, then everybody else around me has new choices available to them. So
Yes, yes.
that's the key. Like, because we want to go, well, if this person would just change his behavior, or that person would just do this. But the reality is, okay, in this moment, what new choices can I create for me? And then that creates new choices for the other person.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because we tend to have our maps integrated with each other in relationships. And so when you shift yours, I mean, the best thing I could do is these people in my family that were close with me is change mine. And when I changed mine, I stopped playing the game. And when you stop playing the game, that breaks patterns, and that it gives them an opportunity. That opens them up all of a sudden to take in something new. And so, and working with your own family members is very complex. And I think that's why I got so deep into, that's why I dove so deep and got to the core of this thing, because so many other methods that we had tried, and I'll say for 20 years, we tried so many different things and therapies and medications and all the stuff that mainstream had to offer. And when I heard there was something else, I just had to figure out what it was, because nobody even claimed to be getting to the core of the problem, the basis, the foundation of the problem. And so, but this ultimately gets down to the foundation. It gets to what holds it all together. And so getting down that deep is just so powerful for people. It is so fun. And wow, I just get to live the most incredible life. I designed it up here and now I have it. And so now I'm redesigning for one that's even more.
That's awesome. So what is, do you have maybe a specific little testimonial of a customer or client, somebody that's of where they've been and where they have gotten to in their life because of the work that you've done with them?
Oh yeah, actually, honestly, I have so many testimonials. It's
I go, I've
incredible.
heard a lot of them. So like pick a really good one. And
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you one that is really means a lot to me, because I had a kind of a friend of mine that her daughter struggled with borderline personality disorder, and when I talked to her about what I did, she later told me, she said, there was no way. She's like, there's no way. I've for 7 years have worked with every possible thing that there is out there. And not only have we not found much help, but we've rarely even heard of a successful story in helping someone that has borderline personality disorder. That is a very complex disorder. And she said that is just one, and most people give up on those kind of people. And yet she said there was something that just rang true. There was something that just for me just felt right. And so she had her daughter come in, and we did what I call an intensive session, which is a pretty long session. And the next day she said, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. That is amazing. That is incredible. The change and the shift that she made in that one meeting just was absolutely life-changing for both of them. And she was just crying and just so incredibly happy. And other one is a guy called me up just recently. He reached out to me, and I'd worked with him a year and a half ago. He was struggling with addiction. He was struggling in his marriage. He had a job that he just really was unhappy with, and all these things in his life. And he called me back, and I thought, oh, maybe there's something going on with his life because of the coronavirus, and he's having some stress again, and wants to have a booster session. Because I call them booster sessions. Once that new programming is in there, you're doing it and you're going. But sometimes it's like, I just want more faster. So then we'll have follow-up sessions periodically. And he said, I'm doing amazing. He goes, I am just lit up. My life is so much better. I can't even begin on how much I appreciate. I've got a new job, and it's still one that I don't absolutely love, but I'm happy at it. I'm happy with my marriage, and I'm spending time with my kids so much more, and I'm doing all these things. And he goes, but I want more. And since the coronavirus is keeping me at home, I have time and I want to change. I want to get into a new career, and I want to change all these things. And he was just lit up. And we did a session like this online now. And he's still just like, it's kind of this strange, euphoric, mind-blowing thing that I can't believe that I've figured out and discovered. And I get to share it with people every day. And so it's so fun.
Well, that's cool that it can work that quickly. I didn't realize that how that it could work that quickly, but I don't want to give away everything because
Yeah.
you have a so your what's the name of your business again?
So the clinic here is the Neuro Clinic,
Mhm.
and mine is actually Fulfill Life Yourself. And I have a Facebook page I'm just starting to get into. I haven't hardly done any advertising or anything. This is kind of new for me. I've been working for the last 3 years on referrals only. And so, but I want to help more people. I want to get it out to more people. And so I would like to, I'm starting to do group sessions, and I'm starting to do some things digitally so people can have access that, can't do a full session or they live far away. So I'm getting into doing more because I'm unsatisfied now. I want it to get out to more people.
Well, I want you to get out to more people. That's why I'm super excited because I'm a brain science person and I have anyway, I love the work you do and I'm super excited to be able to promote you and I'm really excited. So if you're watching this video, you need to schedule yourself on 3 o'clock Saturday, May 2nd, to be in the Facebook group or on the website to watch this video live so that you can get more information. And so that's empoweruexpo.com is the website. And the group on Facebook, you can also find the page. Well, we're right here live on the page right now. And then I'm going to post the group link below. So it'll be super easy for people to just click on that and go join the group so that they can see the live stream there. So, is there any parting words, anything you want to say to people before we say goodbye?
No, I just want to say that when it really comes down to it, it's all about the way that our brain works around being able to love, to
Oh,
have that unconditional, being able to remove what this world has taught us that puts conditions on our love and just opens us up to be just full of love and everything that we do. And that's the life I get to live now. And I just want to share that with everybody. So I hope you show up. I hope you come and see what I have to say and learn more. And if you don't come and follow or work with me, that you work with someone who goes down these same paths, because it is just, it's a completely different life. It's so wonderful. So, and thank you so much. I have to show my appreciation for you because you're getting me to get out a little bit and to start on some of this digital stuff and getting, which I've been needing to do. And now it's happening and you've been a part of that. So I
yeah,
appreciate
the
it.
coronavirus has kind of forced us all to learn new things. Like we, usually have this event in person in Utah, and but we've had to pivot and take this online because the venue that we had set up to do this in is now a field hospital. So it's kind of taken, and we're all in quarantine still for a while here in Utah. So yeah, we've had to learn some new things. But LaMonte, you emanate, you ooze love and just show that, just your personality, just who you are. So you're a perfect example of what you can be once you've gotten all of those new things wired.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it so much. And I see the same in you. So I love working with you and let's keep this going. I love it.
Yeah, let's do. All right, bye Facebook friends, I'll see you in the group.